cross near the Tichy High School. Right now, expanded to the resort now. We are right here.
The Dutch colony of Curaçao, discovered in 1499, is located in the southern Caribbean, just a short 60 miles north of Venezuela. As a result, you will see Arawak, French, Dutch, Spanish, West Indian, Portuguese, and African influences throughout the island in language, food, religion, and architecture. Approximately 80% of Curaçao is Roman Catholic, but there is a large Jewish settlement in Charlotte dating back to 1650s and continuing today. Wilmstead, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and home to 16 museums, is the capital of Curaçao and where most of the action is. Separated into two portions, the Punda and the Outra Bunda, other side, by St. Anna Bay. The Punda is the start of town and where you will see most of the tourists shopping and eating along the water's edge. Outra Bunda is where most of the residents live. It's quite the contrast, and if you want to see what it's like being a local, take a stroll through the streets of Outra Banda, and feel like you belong. You can cross back and forth from Punda and Outra Banda via the Queen Emma Bridge, which is the swing bridge. The Queen Emma Bridge, called the Swinging Old Lady by locals, is a pontoon bridge originally built in 1888 and restored in 2005 and 2006. The swing bridge is 548 feet long, opens and moves to the side about 30 times per day to allow for the ships to enter. When the bridge is open, free ferries called ponche are in operation to accommodate people who wish to cross from side to side. Mpeg was built to defend the Spanish water in 1703. It was at that time one of the few places where one could easily go from sea to land. The fort has proven its service several times, keeping the British and the pirates out of Curacao. Saw this interesting situation where this little pickup truck just kind of backed over this wall, and I guess he just didn't see that it wouldn't stop.
So this is the Curacao display for the liquor.
In 1915, the Royal Dutch Shell and the Dutch government decided to establish an extensive oil refinery installation on the former site of the slave trade market at Asiento. The oil company suddenly had many jobs for the local population and attracted a wave of immigration from surrounding nations. The natural deep water harbor and a stable political climate made Curacao the obvious place. Shell has been the largest employee on the island since 1918.
Yeah, that's right. When he's going astern, he has to blow the horn.
Gustavia St. Bart's Red Roof Capital is a small harbor town lined with chic boutiques, duty-free shops, gourmet restaurants, and galleries. In the harbor, rustic fishing boats bob beside mega yachts. Restaurants and luxury duty-free shops greet travelers disembarking from the many cruise ships that call here. For beautiful sightseeing views, visit Fort Gustav, the most important fort during the Swedish period, or head to the top of the 29-meter hill for vistas of Shell Beach amid the few remaining stone walls of Fort Call. History buffs can learn about the island's past at Musée Territorial and Wall House Museum by visiting the oldest building in Gustavia, the Vuurklatsje, opposite St. Bartholomew's Anglican Episcopal Church, built in 1855, is an English anchor identified as the type used by British warriors from 1700 to 1825. This 10-ton anchor was unwittingly hauled into Gustav's waters by a tugboat towing a barge. Shoppers will love the open-air market.
No diving?
Not deep enough.
Not deep enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 17.
These villas are 20 to 30 million baht.
Charleston is the capital of the island of Nevis in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, Leeward Islands, West Indies. Charleston is situated on the leeward side of the island of Nevis near the southern end of Penny's Beach. Historically, in colonial times, the town of Charleston was protected by Fort Charles to the south and Fort Black Rocks to the north. Many of the oldest two-story stone buildings were severely damaged over time by earthquakes, which tended to cause the upper story to collapse into the lower story. This unfortunate design flaw led to the common practice of building a wooden upper floor above a stone floor. Charleston Nevis also boasts a long and colorful history which many of the things to do in Charleston are centered around. Simply strolling the small town is very enjoyable. The Charleston was ravaged by the town from Brimstone Hill Fortress on St. Kitts, which one can see. The large cannons were able to fire across the short water called the Narrows. Horatio Nelson Museum is a beautiful museum to get some good history on it. The town's famous for being the birthplace of Alexander Hamilton and his childhood home. The restored stone building, which was his place of birth, now houses the Museum of Nevis History on the ground floor and the Nevis Island Administration Assembly Room on the upper floor. This is the Elysia Hotel where we spent a week with Doug and Debbie Keller many years ago. It was a great trip.
Are you filming?
Yeah.
It's okay. But you have to be coordinated to do it.
You have to have good balance. Because he went down underwater and popped up out of the water. You're not going to do that again.
So see, today you've seen something you've never seen before. Oh no, it's okay. Don't wait.
We arrived in Virgin Gorda on November the 8th and celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary.
the sound.
Yeah. Water, sound. Anyway, there. You come in between, you get there, you come in between, see that reef right there. That big island name is Prickly Pear. Prickly Pear Island, the big one. Okay. Then you got the one above it, that Eustacia Island. Eustacia. You got, I think Larry Page, you know, for Google, has a house there. The other island there by itself over there. Then it's Sabre Rock. Sabre Rock, there's a hotel in there. Nice place. Then on the Virgin Gorda, say all of them is Virgin Gorda. Okay,
Sabre
you got
Rock.
an area behind that Billerine Yacht Club, right in front of you. With a red roof and white tops in the hill. Up in the,
Over on the other side.
right, yes, that's Virgin Gorda. It's all on Virgin Gorda. That is bitter end.
Necker Island, owned by Sir Richard Branson.
Growing up here in that,
It's the Dog
guy
Islands.
used to sing, row the boats. She did it. How old is it?
Sounded like it, huh?
In 1989, when I was in here,
And then we look over here, and this is the Caribbean Sea.
right over here, way to the back. Yours from that. That's St. John. Right over there. And then coming on this side, you got Norman Island, Peter, and that's the South Island. Then here you got Ginger, sorry, then you got Cooper, and you got Ginger Island. One that looks like a wrong rock, like a volcano, that's a wrong rock. Then you got rocks that okay.
One is Enchantment of the Seas, and one is Emperor of the Seas. And this is Ada, and the carnival ship Victory. And then two NCL ships. One of them the Jade. That's the Jade. Yes. Which one though?